Hello, my name is Georgia Delgado and today I'm going to talk about Zika virus infection. Definition. What is the Zika virus? Zika virus disease is caused by a virus transmitted primarily by Aedes mosquitoes which bite during the day. Symptoms are generally mild and include fever, rash, conjunctivitis, muscle and joint pain, malacia, or headache. Symptoms typically last for 2 to 7 days. Most people with Zika virus infection do not develop its symptoms. Applications of medicine. Diagnosis. Infection with Zika virus might be suspected based on symptoms of persons living or visiting areas with Zika virus transmission, other or Aedes mosquito vectors. A diagnosis of Zika virus infection can only be confirmed by a laboratory test of blood or other fluids such as urine or semen. Transmission. Zika virus is primarily transmitted by the bite of infected mosquito from Aedes genus, mainly Aedes aegypti, in tropical and subtropical regions. Aedes mosquitoes usually bite during the day, peaking during early morning and late afternoon evening. This is the same mosquito that transmits dengue, chikungunya, and yellow fever. Zika virus is also transmitted from mother to fetus during pregnancy through sexual contact, transfusions of blood and blood products, and organ transplantation.
Zika virus can be transmitted through mosquito bites or sexual contact. Infected babies may suffer from microcephaly, affecting their growth and intellectual ability and requiring lifelong care. The virus can also cause neurological complications, such as paralysis or respiratory difficulties. Death may occur in severe cases. Everyone should take precautions to protect themselves from getting Zika virus.
If you've never heard of the Zika virus before this year, you're not alone.
It was isolated from monkeys in 1947 in Uganda in the Zika rainforest, and since then it really hasn't bothered humans much at all.
Until now, the Zika virus appeared in Brazil for the first time in 2015, and more than 1 million people have been infected since then.
Just to put that into perspective, the last largest outbreak happened in French Polynesia, and it really only spread around to a couple hundred people.
80% of people with the virus don't have symptoms at all. The others have mild symptoms, including fever and a rash. So here's why public health officials are concerned.
Now we're learning when pregnant women contract Zika, they can pass it on to their fetuses, and this in turn can cause terrible birth defects.
This is microcephaly. It's a birth defect that involves incomplete head and brain development.
So they look like they have very small heads. And what that means is they're basically mentally disabled, they have a shorter life expectancy, and it's just an absolutely devastating disease.
Microcephaly has multiple causes, but officials think it might also be linked to Zika. That's why public health officials in Latin America and the Caribbean are cautioning women not to get pregnant right now. It's especially important that pregnant women are aware of the risk.
There needs to be a lot of awareness about the virus and about this potential for damage to the fetus later.
There are a lot of viruses out there that can infect humans, but two things that can get really alarming is when a virus spreads quickly and when it causes serious harm. Zika virus has the potential to do both of these things, which is why it's gotten a lot of attention. Given this, it makes sense to understand a bit about Zika virus and the disease it causes. Zika virus is an arbovirus, meaning it's transmitted via certain arthropods, specifically mosquitoes, so it's a mosquito-borne virus. Mosquito-borne doesn't mean that the virus is born in the mosquito though, but it's born with an E, which means carried or transported. Sometimes we call organisms like this vectors, where all they do is transport the virus. So with the Zika virus, just like other mosquito-borne viruses like dengue fever, yellow fever, Japanese encephalitis, and West Nile virus, the mosquito acts as a vector that transmits the virus from one person to the next. These viruses are all in the genus Flavivirus. In order to mature her offspring, female mosquitoes need a blood meal, which they get from unsuspecting hosts. Mosquitoes find their blood meals using chemical compounds that we and other organisms give off, like carbon dioxide, ammonia, lactic acid, and octanol. So when a mosquito that also happens to be carrying the virus finds her meal and digs in, the virus infects the human host and starts to multiply or reproduce within the human. With most flaviviruses, though, the virus isn't able to replicate enough in the human host to actually be able to reinfect another mosquito, and so the human is considered a dead-end host. However, the Zika virus, along with yellow and dengue fever, is well enough adapted to human hosts such that it can multiply to a point where it can reinfect another unsuspecting mosquito, which can then go on to infect more people. This window lasts for the first week of infection, during which the Zika virus can be found in the blood. So if humans with the disease can transmit back to mosquitoes, then you can imagine that areas where there are a lot of mosquitoes would be set up for spreading the virus super quickly.
Pros and cons. Complications. Zika virus infection during pregnancy is a cause of microcephaly and other congenital abnormalities in the developing fetus and newborn. Zika infection in pregnancy also results in pregnancy complications such as fetal loss, stillbirth, and preterm birth. Zika virus infection is also a trigger of Guillain-Barré syndrome, neuropathy, and millets, particularly in adults and older children. Issues applying in Ecuador. Zika Epidemiology Report. In Epidemiology Week 2 of 2016, the Ecuador International Health Regulations National Focal Points notified the Pan Organization Health of the detection of the first cases of autoimmune vector-borne transmission of Zika in residents of the city of Guayaquil, Guayas Province, and Puerto Viejo, Manabí Province. The cases were laboratory confirmed at the National Institute of Public Health and Research. Geographical distribution. Zika virus disease in pregnant women. As of Epidemiology Week 32 of 2017, a total of 912 confirmed cases of Zika virus disease have been reported among pregnant women, with the highest number of confirmed cases being reported from Guayas Province, with 30 and 29 cases. Of the total cases, 176 were infected in the first semester of pregnancy, 531 in the second semester, and 205 in the third semester.
Microcephaly means being born with an abnormally small head, small in relation to the rest of the body, and it indicates that the brain may not have grown adequately during pregnancy. It can be caused by a number of conditions: infections, severe malnutrition, exposure to toxic chemicals. But we're worried at the moment that the new emergence of Zika virus, a relatively mild infection in Southern America, has been associated with infections, presumably early in pregnancy, which have affected the growth of the baby's brains. In order to know whether your child has microcephaly or not, the first is you need to talk to your obstetrician or midwife who's caring for you antenatally. And it may be possible to do ultrasound scans later on in the pregnancy to look at the baby's brain and to look at measures of brain growth. But not all cases will be picked up in the antenatal period. Once the baby's born, of course, then the baby needs to be properly assessed by a pediatrician by examining the baby, looking at developmental milestones, and by doing brain imaging and measuring the head in relation to the size of the body.
Conclusion. Treatment. There's no treatment available for Zika virus infection or its associated disease. Symptoms of Zika virus infection are easily mild. People with symptoms such as fever, rash, or arthralgia should get plenty of rest, drink fluids, and treat pain and fever with common medicines. If symptoms worsen, they should seek medical prevention. Use of repellent containing 20% or 30% DEET or 20% picaridin on exposed skin. Reapply according to the manufacturer's directions. Wear neutral clothing. If possible, wear long-sleeved brittle garments. If available, pre-soak or spray oral layer chlorine and gear with penetrate. Get rid of water contains around the linens and ensure that the door and window screens work properly. Apply sunscreen first, followed by the repellent, preferably 20 minutes late.
Here are effective steps you can take to protect yourself, your family, and your community from the spread of Zika virus. Cover and repel. Remove collected water. Keep mosquitoes out of your home. And if you're pregnant and have sex, use condoms. All of these actions are necessary. Taken together and repeated as recommended, these steps will help protect you, your family, and your community from getting Zika. Cover and repel to keep mosquitoes from biting you. Wear long-sleeve shirts, long pants, and socks, apply mosquito repellent, and sleep under a bed net and cover cribs and strollers with mosquito netting. Remove containers that collect water to eliminate places where mosquitoes can rest and lay eggs. Empty collected water at least once a week and scrub containers to remove mosquito eggs. Cover containers so they don't collect water when it rains. Throw away trash or unused containers with collected water. Keep mosquitoes out of your home. Use screens on windows and doors. Once a week, empty and scrub all containers inside your home that hold water, like vases or flower pot saucers. And use an indoor flying insect fogger or spray insecticide to kill mosquitoes. Zika virus stays in the body for a while and can be sexually transmitted by a man to his sex partner through semen. If you're pregnant, Zika can harm your pregnancy. If you are pregnant, use a condom every time you have sex with a male partner during your pregnancy. Use a condom the right way to prevent the spread of Zika virus. Using a condom can protect your pregnancy. If you're not pregnant and not trying to get pregnant, talk to your healthcare provider about effective contraceptive measures. Zika can be scary, but remember, you can take steps to protect yourself, your family, and your community from the spread of Zika virus. Cover and repel. Remove collected water. Keep mosquitoes out of your home. And if you're pregnant and have sex, use condoms.